What's up, guys, and welcome to this. This is your New Japan Pro Wrestling's New Japan Cup 2024 Night 5 for the 11th of March review show. I'm your host, LK, from the SOS WrestleTalk YouTube channel. If you haven't done so already, hit the like button, drop a comment, and smash that subscribe button. Looking forward to bringing you the review today. I want to give a big shout out for Dion over the week for doing such a great job covering the New Japan Cup, and looking forward to some time jumping on with the man. It's just really unfortunate I have to get up so early for work and he has to stay up. So obviously he's got work as well, so the time, him being in America and me being over here in the UK, does make it an absolute bastard. But I'm glad to see really good reviews on the channel. Looking forward to jumping back in. Apologies again if the show does sound echoey. No, I'm not in an incredible studio. I am currently in my lounge. I've moved place. Really enjoying it, really liking it, to be honest with you. So looking forward to finally being able to kind of sit down and actually relax and watch some wrestling. Looking forward to doing this, and also going to be doing the SmackDown vs Raw episode 1. Going to be doing that Wednesday or Thursday night. But let's jump on to this one. So we had Jungle Boy Jack Perry taking on Toru Yano in the second round of the New Japan Cup. Again, Dion's given his takes on Jack Perry turning up in New Japan Pro Wrestling and joining everybody's favourite faction, the House of Torture. That was complete sarcasm. Everyone cannot stand the House of Torture, but could this be? You know, you have evil, you know, and everyone shits on Yujiro. Me and Dion have been fans of Yujiro for a fucking shed loads of years, so we're not in that bandwagon. We're not gonna bite on poor Yujiro Takahashi. He's our boy. We like Yujiro, but you got some dog in there. They're like, I think it's just evil, to be fair. I don't think you'll come on here and any, you know, YouTube or any podcast listen to where they're going to praise the man. And if they do, stop listening. So it's good to see kind of Jack Perry, after what happened with CM Punk at All In Wembley Stadium, kind of finally re-emerge. And it's a big chance for the guy to be able to come out here, make a name for himself. I'm not saying he didn't do that in AEW. He was, you know, one half of the tag champs with Luchasaurus. He had a good thing going on with Hook, heel turn, and then all of a sudden what happened with Punk, and we're not going to sit here and talk about that because that's been talked about to death. But, you know, Jack Perry coming out, having a goat on his head, and his nickname being the Scapegoat, is absolutely world-class and fucking hysterical. So I really enjoy that. And it's a different side of Perry, you know, and I think the style will suit New Japan. I really, really do. And I hope he does well here. And, you know, especially as new AEW have taken Kazuchika Okada. Unbelievable. What a partner. What a partnership that is. Imagine this. You go, right, we'll give you... Well, obviously, it wasn't a trade. And obviously, you know, this is... Realistically, Okada said he's never wrestling in a New Japan ring again. So we'll take that verbatim and we'll assume we'll never see the Rainmaker back inside a New Japan ring, unfortunately. But imagine this. You're in a partnership, an agreement, and you take the biggest star. And I mean the biggest star that New Japan has. Obviously, Naito's in the mix as well, kind of tussling. But in my opinion, again, I'm biased. I'm a big Okada fan. You know, and you know, they took an Osprey from New Japan. They took an Okada. It's just like, fuck, Jay White. All within, what, half a year, maybe a year? It's like, fuck. And obviously, I was trying to get around to do an AEW Revolution review, but didn't get around to it just because, again, the move. So I did manage to squeeze some time to watch that pay-per-view, and fuck me, what a match. Will Ospreay and Konosuke Takeshita. What a match. That was an absolute barn burner. That's my match of the year so far. And again, I know a lot of channels cover WWE, so I'm going to try and not cover WWE. I'll do the pay-per-views, but I won't be covering WWE like I used to. I'll just do the pay-per-views. With AEW, I enjoy the show. I watch the show, so I don't know if I should just cover it anyway. Looking forward to kind of a fresh start for me, getting back into this, you know, new slate, new home. Looking forward to kind of jumping back in. And I apologise if this is your first time listening to one of my shows. This is what I do. I can't just go off on this 5 minute. I wish I could. I just can't. Once I start talking, everything that goes in my brain just comes out my mouth. Some people over the years have really enjoyed it. Some people haven't. Hopefully you guys do. But yeah, so I'm looking to do some AEW stuff and just try and do as much as I can when I can, because unfortunately I'm no longer that young man who could stay up and watch Raw live and SmackDown live and New Japan live and be able to cover them. You just have to pick my moments. That's one thing I like about doing that series, the SmackDown versus Raw series. Go back, check out episode 0.5. I did the draft, just because then I can kind of smash a load out and then kind of have them as backlog, so I can always have a piece of content every week uploaded onto this beautiful channel. But let's get back to the match. We got Jack Perry and Toru Yano second round. Jack Perry beat Yamino, and why did they pair Jack Perry with Shota Yamino? What? Why? You know, for example, in this main event we got Yoshi Hashi versus Sanada, and are they going to try and build Yoshi Hashi? Probably not. You know, again, me and Dion love Yoshi Hashi. We used to call him Hash Brown. And then all of a sudden he came back after COVID and he was the fucking man. You know, but we could have had Yamino versus Sanada and then built that up. But we won't get onto that because otherwise we really will be here all night. And then Yano defeated Yujiro, who was ringside for this one, via countout. Usual stuff for Yano, you know, the whole hairspray, roll up, near fall, until Perry hit a nice drop kick to knock Yano down. There's the standard Yano catapult spot into the exposed buckle, which Perry sold like a motherfucker. There was your usual ref bump. Kanemaru comes out, everyone's favourite wrestler, and attacked Yano. And then Yano with a low blow and a good near fall. And then Yujiro pulls the ref out of the ring. Running knee to the head from Perry gets the win. So Perry advances, so he'll face the winner of Sanada and Yoshihashi, which was in the main event. They're building up Perry, man. The way they're building him, you know, if he can knock off Sanada, could we potentially be seeing the New Japan Cup winner? I mean, it's a way to debut, even if he gets to the final or semi-finals. You know, imagine if he does defeat Sanada. Yeah, that's a match as well, Jack Perry and Sanada, that I wouldn't have ever thought I wanted until it's made official. And I really am looking forward to that match. I think it will be a really, really good match. This match was alright. It was your traditional Yano match. If you've watched one, you've watched them all. And that's not a knock. It's a bit of comedy relief. Some people hate it, which, if you do, I completely understand. And some people love it, which, again, I completely understand. And I always feel, and this isn't actually taken into consideration much when these people do the reviews, a lot of times it can depend on the mood you are in when you are watching it. Because if you're in a bad mood, and especially if, you know, sometimes you can just be in a real bad mood, you could watch the best wrestling match ever and be like, oh, that was alright. It was good. It was good. You know, so I think it all does depend as well on kind of the mood that the human being is in. So that needs to be taken into consideration a lot more. But yeah, good stuff. Then we had Sanada versus Yoshihashi. So Yoshihashi defeated Kenta in the first round, and Sanada received a bye. Is Sanada's going to be interesting? After coming off, I would say an exciting championship reign, but I don't want to lie to you. He came off an alright title reign. Not very memorable, but still, it's an accolade. I believe, and now hear me out. Hear me out. I believe that Sanada's going to fall into the Shingo trap. You know, he's going to fight and wrestle in these matches where they're not that important. You know, what was Shingo? Hopefully Shingo has a great run here in 2024. I really enjoyed his championship reign. He always had really good matches, as does Sanada. Sanada doesn't have bad matches, but I feel that New Japan kind of, they win the belt, and then they lose the belt, and then they go do nothing. And that there's not enough mid-card rivalries. I think that's something New Japan should work, but it's the way it's booked. It's New Japan's style, and you get used to it. And I hope there's a lot of people watching this, not even specifically this, but watching New Japan after seeing Jack Perry come out, but going, oh, New Japan, I'll give that a watch. You know, there won't be many of them, but hopefully there is some. Because, you know, what a trade, Jack Perry for Will Ospreay, Kazuchika Okada and Jay White. This one started off decent, good back and forth action. There was just some really good sequences in here. I obviously, it's a Yoshihashi match, so I'm excited. I'm a bit biased, But I really got into this, and you know, it picked it. There was some really good spots. There was a moonsault off the top, which Hashi got his knees up for a good near fall. There was a really good strike exchange in the middle of the match, which the crowd really got into. Sanada moonsault off the top, which Hashi kicked out. A full Nelson plus a lariat. Both men went down. Crowd is going not crazy, but the crowd are really, really into it. Just really good near fall exchange until Sanada got the one with the dead fall. And post-match, they show each other respect. So obviously this sets up Jack Perry versus Sanada, which will take place on the 16th, which I do believe is a Sunday. Actually, I believe that's a Saturday. What a fucking imbecile. But yeah, this is a good show. If you like Toru Yano matches, watch the Toru Yano match. If you don't like Toru Yano, skip that, because every match, you could put that in there with Okada, you could put him in there with Tanahashi, with Naito. It doesn't matter who you put him in the ring with, you're going to get the same. So if you like it and it makes you smile, give it a watch. If you've had a bad day, probably avoid it. Sanada Hashi, this was a good match. It went about 20 plus minutes. They really went out there and really delivered. I really thoroughly enjoyed it, and was glad to be able to cover it on my 18th return to the channel. But yeah, this was a good match, because some of the matches haven't been that great in this tournament. So it's good to actually have like a good match for me to jump into, and this was a good one, and I do recommend it. Yoshi Hashi doesn't get to do singles a lot, so seeing him go singles is refreshing. So look, that's that. Looking forward to covering more of this on the channel. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know down below. Let me and Dion know down below your thoughts and opinions on this show, on this New Japan Cup as a whole. Thank you so much for watching. This has been your boy LK. Stay safe, stay well, and I'll be catching your asses down the line.